Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Um, just while we're waiting, I can still see there's a few people still coming in. So while we're waiting, we thought it'd be fun to ask a quick little icebreaker. So TikTok made me buy it. What is the weirdest thing you've ever bought because you saw it on TikTok or another social media? Um, I haven't made too many crazy purchases. I did jump on the whole Dubai chocolate trend earlier this year and picked up some goodies from Sugar Plum Sweetery.
Yeah.
And actually, I was surprised. I kind of thought I wouldn't like it, but no, they are pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Jennifer. Made any crazy purchases?
Yeah. Just well, actually, yeah, recently on the Dubai chocolate thing myself as well, but that was an in-store purchase. But yeah, I can get the hype around that one. So yeah, I have a couple myself. If anyone does have any weird things, please do pop them into the chat so we can have a little discussion about it. So I have one I purchased off of Instagram. This was a couple of Christmases ago. It was a bit of a last minute panic sort of stocking filler purchase. So for context though, my family are quite big into DIY. So it wasn't a totally ridiculous purchase, but it was basically a snowflake keyring that had like different sort of attachment pieces around it for like different types of screwdriver heads or like wrench sort of things, like stuff that you could do with it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it arrived like it was definitely coming from a faraway place, and it arrived like 3 or 4 weeks later after Christmas, and it was, even though it's supposed to be a keyring, it was so heavy. It was actually like it was near enough to weapon. So yeah, I don't think my family thanked me for it. But yeah, anyway, lesson learned.
I guess you can always use it for self-defense if nothing else. Anyway.
Actually, exactly.
Okay.
Um, we can
I see
say
the chat's
hello
picking up a little bit. Hi Ben. Hi Aideen.
for joining us.
All right. So shall I jump on to our first poll? Let's get going. Oh, hello Anya. Thanks for joining us. Okay. So we're going to kick off with a little poll, just to get an idea of where everyone is on their journey with TikTok. So there we go. Should pop up on your screen now. So what is your experience level with TikTok Shop? Maybe you're a total newbie, or it could be that you're a kind of TikTok user, but not really sure how to step into the commerce side of things. Obviously, if you're a curious seller, maybe you're kind of interested in signing up, or maybe you've already put your application in. We'd love to hear from you guys. And absolutely, of course, if you are already a TikTok Shop Pro, then welcome. We're delighted to have you here. Okay, so I'll just see. All right, so I'm not seeing too many votes just yet. Let me see. Oh, there we go. All right, so okay, we've got a nice, good representation from people who are new to TikTok Shop, and then some curious sellers and some casual scrollers, and oh, we've got a pro here as well. So awesome. All right. Let me just see, where am I? Okay, so just to talk a little bit about the agenda for today, guys. We're gonna cover the opportunity that TikTok Shop presents. Jennifer is going to talk us through how to sell on TikTok Shop. I'm going to speak a little bit to the logistical side of things and the service level agreements, or SLAs, that TikTok Shop expects of its sellers. And at the end, we'll be doing a live Q&A. You will notice a tab in the bottom right of your screen labeled questions. If you have any questions at any stage of this webinar, please drop them in there. And when we reach the live Q&A close to the end, Jennifer and I will go through those. All right, so without further ado, today we're talking about increase your sales with TikTok Shop, how to get started. So by means of introductions, my name is Fiacre Murphy. I'm the sales manager here at Autofulfill. Just in case you haven't heard of us, we are a direct-to-consumer specialist fulfillment center. We've got over a decade of experience helping e-commerce brands grow. We always put an emphasis on the quality of our services. We work with brands from all different growth stages, all different sectors in Ireland and beyond. And Jennifer, do you want to give us a bit of an introduction to yourself and Distinction Digital?
Yeah, thanks so much. So yeah, I'm Jennifer Shanahan and I'm founder of Distinction Digital. So I have been based in Cork now for 7 years. I'm originally from Edinburgh though, so that's the accent that you're hearing today. I'm an e-commerce consultant and I have worked with a variety of different businesses over the years, both in-house and then freelance as well. So I've worked in small to medium-sized businesses, typically selling all sorts of things. So that's from stationery to skincare to sleeping bags to kilts to cosmetics. So lots of different things. I work with businesses to optimize their digital presence. So that's either through their website, their marketing, or then through their procedures, processes, just to make sure they're set up with a solid foundation for successful selling. And I do this with a network of absolutely excellent professionals, digital professionals across Ireland. So content creators, web developers, etc. And we do that for clients on an ongoing or project basis either. So yeah, TikTok Shop is definitely a huge opportunity for Irish businesses. And hopefully by the end of today, you'll feel a lot more confident in getting started and start selling on TikTok. So yeah, excited to get into all this with you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, so why are we doing this webinar now? TikTok Shop is still in Ireland very much an early stage opportunity. So it's still technically in its soft launch phase, which means that the market here is still quite underdeveloped, especially if you're comparing it to some of the other regions where TikTok Shop is a little bit more well established, like Southeast Asia, or even more recently in the UK. The global growth trends for TikTok Shop have been really, really positive. So for context, last year, they posted 42 billion gross merchandising value globally. And even with the UK, where they just launched in 2023, even since then, there are over 200,000 active sellers already listed. Speaking then to Ireland, the market is absolutely here. So TikTok Shop, or TikTok rather, reaches an audience of over 2 million users in Ireland. So there are massive opportunities for sellers who want to go live here. And then finally, Ireland's founder-led market, it's a really kind of aligns well with TikTok's content. So founder-led brands tend to excel when they can humanize their brand, humanize their story, and this works really well with the kind of content that is on TikTok Shop. So to give a quick intro to TikTok Shop in Ireland, I'm going to look at, going to recap the kind of timeline of their launch, and then we're going to look at what exactly makes it such a unique opportunity. So straight into the launch. TikTok Shop, they launched in Ireland in December 2024. At the same time, they also launched in Spain. We were privileged enough to be the first EU countries where they've gone live. Of course, this was following a really successful rollout in the UK in 2023. TikTok made the very smart decision to partner with Guaranteed Irish for the Ireland rollout. This gave them instant credibility, access to a curated pool of trusted sellers within Ireland. And of course, as I mentioned on the last slide, the market they're reaching, there are 2.16 million users in Ireland. And that really showcases how strong the platform saturation is for them here. And then, of course, the growth continues. So following the launch in Ireland and Spain in March of this year, they launched in France and Italy. And no doubt there are plans to continue to expand through Europe. But what makes TikTok Shop a unique opportunity? So we've kind of split this into 3 areas. First is the content first, search later nature of the entire experience. I want to talk a little bit about the famously short customer journey, and I'm also going to speak on the fulfillment implications of working on TikTok Shop for sellers. All right. So what is this content first, search later nature? So unlike Amazon, Etsy, eBay, or your other kind of online marketplaces, TikTok really doesn't rely on people searching for what they want. They've successfully blurred the line between content consumption and commerce and created a really kind of a really unique experience, which is entirely discovery driven. So people, especially among the Gen Z demographic, stumble across brands in their feed, usually when maybe they're not actually shopping or coming across ones they've never even heard of before. And the statistics behind this prove that, with 88% of TikTok users saying that they've discovered new brands there. Almost a quarter of purchases happen simply just by browsing. And to put that into context for sellers, this means that you're not going to be competing against an algorithm or competing on pricing or keywords. Really, what will determine your success on TikTok Shop is your creativity and your prolificity. But what happens after someone discovers you? So the buying decision famously can take less than a minute. Part of that is because of the experience they've built. So everything happens in app. There are no redirects, no kind of clunky checkout, and users are absolutely primed for this. So over half of TikTok users admit they've made impulse purchases. And this effect is only intensified by live streams, where 40% of impulse buys are triggered directly by the content on the live itself. So that can be something as simple as interacting with your chat. Maybe you offer to package one of someone's orders. Can be through flash sales, anything else. But really, the whole buyer's journey is just collapsed into a few taps, which is why brands can scale on TikTok Shop so quickly. And if you compare that to some of those aforementioned marketplaces like Amazon, the customer journey is very different there. It involves searching, kind of comparing with similar products, reading customer reviews, and then and only then maybe checkout. That is an altogether much more heavily considered process. And TikTok Shop is entirely different. It really strips that away, kind of leverages impulse purchases, and makes the whole process almost instantaneous. And what does that mean for fulfillment? So the implications here are pretty significant. This is where opportunity meets risk. One viral video can send you hundreds, maybe even thousands of orders in the space of a few hours. I mean, some sellers have reported have seen their sales multiply fivefold after a successful live. And that demand, if you're not operationally ready, can absolutely crush you, causing stock outs, missed orders, canceled sales. And TikTok Shop can be pretty ruthless about missed SLAs or service level agreements. If you miss dispatch targets during a spike, the algorithm will start to bury your products. And this is why fulfillment, it's not just kind of a back end detail here. It is the engine that will determine whether your growth sticks or stalls. But for brands that are ready and that are able to handle that unpredictability, this is not a problem. It's a huge growth engine. If your operations can flex and scale with demand, you can ride the waves instead of getting buried underneath them. And this leads perfectly into the next part of today's session, where Jennifer is going to talk us through what makes brands successful on TikTok Shop and how to set yourself up to capture that growth.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Virka. So I have a few different things here to go through for you. So as Virka was saying there, I'm going to go through why you should sell on TikTok Shop Ireland, and what types of content you can put out there to sell on TikTok Shop, what dictates success, and then a few what not to do's. So as Virka's alluded to, TikTok Shop is massive for discoverability. So you have an opportunity here to reach new audiences really quickly, really easily. So yeah, it's a great channel for that. It's an additional sales and awareness channel as well. So it can make up a good part of your omni-channel strategy. There are just a statistic that says 35% of TikTok users have made a purchase where the buying journey has started. They've initially seen the product on TikTok Shop. So that just shows you that, as we all know anyway, someone might see an ad and they might click through to your website, end up in your email. Like everything is all linked. It's not just like a direct strategy. So it can form part of your full funnel omni-channel experience. There's potential to scale internationally as well. So at the moment, as Firka was saying, there's new European markets that are opening up. It's also very easy then to list your products for those markets as well. At the moment, there's like a little notification that says they're offering a cash 2% back incentive on listing your products in other countries. So they're obviously trying to boost those markets already. So there's good potential for that there. There is also the potential to do fulfilled by TikTok in Spain and Germany. So there are options there as well to be able to be in those markets quite quickly. Do make sure, though, that it aligns with your overall business goals and resources, because it does take up a lot of time and you do need a lot of content. So you need to make sure that that is what you're able to deliver. And of course, if the price is right. So TikTok Shop do take a commission. That commission is variable depending on your industry, can be around about 5%. But if you're going to list on the platform and use affiliates, they also receive a commission. So you just need to make sure that your margins are good enough. So there are a few key ways that you can sell on TikTok Shop. The first is through your shop tab. So once you have your products listed on TikTok Shop, that's either going to be through a direct link from your website through an app or plugin, or you could upload them directly into TikTok Shop yourself. If you are running with a website as well, though, it is kind of easier just to have everything on your website and plug it in. Then if you have any price increases or changes, then that's just going to be pushed through. So it's definitely makes things easier for you. Do make sure, though, that you don't have any violations once your products are up there. TikTok Shop looks for quite a lot of information and also will flag certain things. So it will want documentation. If you have an electrical product, there's different things that it needs. So just make sure that once you have it all synced, that they are all green and good to go. And then make sure that you make use of TikTok's AI features, because they will give you better auto-generated descriptions and titles. Just make sure, as with all AI things, that it makes sense. Okay, so you can also use shoppable content. So this would be pre-recorded content that you've produced either yourself or worked with a content creator previously to produce. You post this and you can tag the products. So if you can see there just in the little purple circle, if you tag your product, that's where it's going to show. It will also then show as promotional content, and that's circled there in green. So that just indicates that this product can be bought from this video. Just to make that distinction between content creators and affiliates. They are different. Affiliates, which I'll talk about in a second, that's all done through the platform. You might want to work with content creators that you ask to produce certain content and they deliver that content with an agreed fee. That's all done off platform. So that's the kind of distinction there. And they might be both the same, but some people might be only content creators. So yeah, that's that. You can, of course, go live, which some people might be totally happy with, other people might totally dread, but it is definitely a good way to engage with your audience, answer any questions. You might discover that there's demand for a certain variation of your product, or that maybe people need more education on your product. It's definitely a good way to engage with your potential customers. So there are a lot that can be done with the lives as well. I do recommend going live for about 2 hours, which does sound scary. I know it's a long time. However, people will be browsing, scrolling through, and will only stop for like a few minutes here and there. So just remember that when you're going live, you're going to repeat your content. If you have an offer, you're going to mention it constantly. So it's not that you have to have complete new details and information for the full 2 hours. You're going to continuously say the same thing. Here, if you have a look in the bottom left corner, there's the little orange shopping bag icon. That's the products that you were mentioning in your live, and you would add them prior to starting. You can also then pin any products that you want to as you're talking about them, and that here is the healthy hair box at the bottom there. So you can pin any and change that as you go through the live. So you might change to talk about something else, you can pin that there. The other feature that's very nicely used here is the billboard, which you can see at the top. So that just stops anyone who's scrolling by. They're going to see automatically, this is what the offer is. They're discussing this treasure chest, Monday's healthy hair box. That's what it's all about. So have a billboard, that's what this is called, on your live to say exactly what your offer is or what it is that you're promoting at that point. And yeah, just make use of things as well, like the giveaways and the flash sales. They are a good way to get extra engagement as well in your life. Okay, affiliates, as I briefly mentioned. So you can work with affiliates via the affiliate center. That's in your seller center. There's a link there to go into it. You can post your products as being open for collaboration and invite affiliates to pitch to you to say, like, I'm interested in this product. You can then approve them. So it's not just that anybody will receive the samples. You can also then outreach. So it's a really good platform to then search for your affiliates based on what sort of industry they focus on, what their GMV is as well. So that's the gross merchandising value. And that is the word, like the acronym that gets used constantly. And that is the sales. So that is the how much in sales has this affiliate made. You can also then look at their follower demographics, which is really interesting if you want to target a specific audience. So in this one here, you can see that Claire is talking about these earphones. The product is tagged in her content in the orange circle there, and it says commission paid in the bottom as well. So there's full transparency for what type of content the user is seeing on the platform. And yet just the affiliates then would receive a commission on all sales that they make for you with that product. So starting out, you might want to be a little bit more generous with your commission to try to attract affiliates. They won't see any history of the product that they're selling, so it's more of a risk to them. So it is very much a mutually beneficial relationship. So you want to make sure that you are nurturing your affiliates as much as possible. And finally, ads. Of course, there's ads on all social platforms. It does indicate that it's an ad as well, just that little orange circle there in the bottom left. The best thing to do is to leverage any of your high performing content. So you might have something from an affiliate or something you've created in-house or from a content creator that's performing really well. So you then can boost that across the platform. If you also use ads during any of the TikTok Shop campaigns, which I'll get onto in a second, then you can also be eligible for post-campaign bonuses. So if you make sure that TikTok Shop are aware that you're participating in this campaign, you sign up to it, you run ads during that campaign, they will boost them further and then also give you a reward for having done so. As it's still so much in its infancy, TikTok Shop are really, really keen to try to get businesses to spend money, but to support as much as possible as well, because if you earn more money on the platform, they're earning more commission as well. So there's quite a lot of incentives there to make use of. And it's also worth consulting somebody who does know about ads, just to kind of give you that insider help. Okay, so from the types of content that I have mentioned, there's potentially 3 strategies that you could follow for getting started. So one is to focus on lives. And if you're already really confident with content creation, it's something that you do already, maybe you do Instagram lives, you could create a strong schedule of content and put this out. So that could be a good way to start. If that's not your strong suit, then maybe just focusing on building a really robust network of affiliates and nurture those relationships. That would be a good place to start. Or if you have lots of resources, budget, and time to go for it, then do both. I will say, though, that even if you are focusing on just the lives, it is good to use affiliates anyway, because most sales do come from affiliates. You might need to just control the poll here, because I can't see the results, but you go for it.
All right. So we've got our second poll of the session. Based on the strategies that Jennifer has shared here, which are you most likely to follow? So maybe, as she kind of mentioned, you're already content creators and you're planning to make your own shoppable videos and run lives yourselves. Maybe you're new to content creation and you're going to focus on the affiliate opportunities. If you've got loads of opportunities and you want to do both, or maybe you're not sure just yet and you just want some more kind of info or maybe some help to decide. So, okay. We've got lots of some responses are coming in. So lots of uncertain people, lots of uncertain people. It's about 50% of people here. Next is new to content creation and people who want to focus on affiliates. So interesting. All right.
Excellent.
Okay, so from here, I'll hand back to you, Jennifer.
Perfect. On my screen. Thank you. So most importantly now, what dictates success on the platform? So have a clear strategy from the beginning. I know the majority there have said, not sure yet, might need a bit of help to decide. I have something for you at the end that might help you decide. So stay tuned. You also should make sure that you participate in the affiliate program. So even if you are focusing on lives, do make sure that you're using affiliates anyway. You will see better results if you can put a bit of budget and effort into affiliates. Make sure your TikTok funded promotions are switched on. So if in your seller center, there's an option there to automatically opt in for things like free shipping or certain discounts. Some of these are fully funded, some are co-funded. So that's where TikTok again are giving you those incentives to try and participate in these things to get sales, and they'll help you out. There are campaigns as well that they run. So the last one there in September was for back to school. Sometimes it can be kind of specific on product niches. This one for back to school wasn't really tied around back to school products. It was more just timing of the year. But during these campaigns, if you tell them that you're going to go live throughout the campaign, they will actually boost that in the algorithm for you. So you submit to TikTok Shop and you say, I'm going live at this date and time, and they will boost that in the algorithm for you. If you are also then part of the campaign, you can offer a discount on your product. TikTok can also then subsidize that for you. So even if you're gonna participate in the campaign, a lot of the time, I think the last one they were offering that they would fully cover that discount up to 20%. So they are encouraging those discounts, which I know everyone will see maybe that TikTok Shop is very discount driven. It is, but you have to be tactical about it. The final little option of the campaign there recently then was the short video. So if you're posting any of your shoppable content and you use the campaign themed hashtag, they will also then enter you into like a competition for these post-campaign bonuses, and they will also push that out as well further for you. So it's definitely worthwhile having a look at those and seeing if you can participate in them. And we wouldn't be doing our jobs here if we didn't tell you that as a TikTok Shop is very much all about content. So content is king. So these are my top 10 tips on what to do to produce good quality content. So as Virka said, it's very much about impulse buying. You need to kind of get that hook, what catches their attention, what makes them want it now. If you have something that you can say that how it's going to like improve their life in some way, it's going to make their skin glow or something like that, appeal to the ego is a really important way of getting your content to work. Be trustworthy though. Like it is a very sales driven platform, but really if you can show that the product actually works, there's before and afters or transformations, if it's real social proof. So that's where you want to make sure your content is trustworthy. Do your keyword research as well. So it is a search platform as well, especially then among younger users. So if you say the keywords in your content, that will also help to rank your content for anything that is relevant in that sort of area. So make sure if you've done your research beforehand, maybe your product has different names across different demographics, then make sure you're kind of mixing that up. Be consistent in your style, so it shouldn't be massively off-brand. Make sure that you are maintaining your brand personality and your brand image there, and educate your audience. I think, as you will quickly discover, as TikTok Shop is so new, people are still learning how to use it. So if you're doing a live, make sure you point out and say, shop all the items in the orange shopping bag below. This offer is pinned here for you. Tell them what you want them to do in your content, and tell them, click through, check, is this still available? Like, that seems to be quite a hook that affiliates are using. Like, look, this item is often out of stock, but click the link below and see if it's in stock now. Like, it's kind of a bit of a clickbaity sort of way of doing it, but it seems to be like a genuine, look, this isn't usually available. Like, it's done in a genuine way. Also remember, if you're filming content, to use the back camera if you're using your phone. So the product will be in reverse if you're using your front camera. So just make sure that you, especially if you have any written text, that you're using the back camera. Add your captions and edit them. I have seen so many, I know it takes time, but I've seen so many errors, typos, and you don't want to be embarrassed. So make sure you go through and proofread them. And then vary the length of your content as well. So your short form content will build you followers. It's quicker interactions. Longer form content, then that's going to be more of your storytelling sort of thing, and that's going to build your trust with your audience. So a few tips here kind of relay across any content you're doing yourself or in live. So hopefully these are useful to you. And a few extra success tips for you. So make sure that you have the right product fit. So as Fiona was saying, like, it's such a quick process through the checkout that a lot of like purchases are low consideration. So something might first be seen on TikTok, and someone might go away and do their research to come back and buy later. As we've seen then from like an omni-channel sort of experience. The majority though are impulse buys, and you are just going to buy your Dubai chocolate because you're like, okay, this isn't a huge risk. If I spend less than like 20 euro or something on chocolate, you're not going to be too worried about it. So yeah, if your product lends itself into that kind of like lower price point category, it's more likely to be successful. So just consider your product there. Make sure that you're testing, reviewing, and learning constantly. Definitely do regular audits on your own content, look at competitors, maybe look at different UK brands as well. Just that's been, TikTok Shop has been live for longer, and just see if you can bring any fresh ideas, and make sure that if you have maybe something in your content that's worked well, that you replicate that. So learn from your own successes as well. And the TikTok Shop Academy is actually great for going through and just explaining things like easily enough of how to use things, how to make use of features. So do go in there and have a look. That is connected within your seller center. And then also make sure that you have the resources to deliver on the fulfillment SLAs, your service level agreements that Firka is going to go into more detail on as well. And then most importantly of all, make sure that you're working with professionals, content creators, e-com marketing experts, and fulfillment specialists. So we understand your goals and can give you advice and strategies, and just kind of point you in the right direction for being set up for success. So that's it. So it's not that for me, actually. There's what not to do. Yeah, the important bits, what not to do. So there are community guidelines on TikTok Shop. So yeah, don't assume that it's the same as any other platform. It is a social media platform, but it is still an e-com platform as well. So make sure that you're paying attention to those community guidelines. They are fairly strict. You can't say things like, shop this over on our website. It'll be, that's trying to drive traffic off platform. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with the guidelines, especially in your sort of product area. Don't ignore your account health either. So that's related to what Firka's going into as well. Check the violations, make sure that you're hitting your targets for your SLAs. And as much as we probably all have the expectation and the assumption that TikTok Shop is very discount driven, which it can be, don't do it every single time you go live. Otherwise, your audience are going to learn and they will wait. And that will be your audiences that could be across other channels as well. And they may just start to go to TikTok only to buy your product at like massive discounts. So just be careful about how you use your discount strategy. And don't panic if your audience is small. So if you go live and there are only 5 people watching your live, that is 5 people that are potentially like standing in front of you, like keen to learn about your product. So don't ignore them. Just try and engage them as much as possible. Put effort into that chat with them and just relate. So yeah, don't worry if it does start small. And watch your promises. So you can't say things that are not fact. So you can't say like this will make you lose £10 or any kind of wild kind of salesy kind of clickbaity type of statements that are just there to kind of shock. Just make sure that what you say is fact, or it will be flagged as well as a violation. So that is it for me this time. And if you have any questions for me, make sure you pop them into the questions box and we'll be answering those at the end. And if you can, or if somebody else has already asked a question that you wanted to ask, then make sure you upvote it as well. You have the opportunity to do that. So yeah, I look forward to answering your questions at the end. And back to Firka.
Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. That was some incredible advice there from can really see your expertise shining through. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk more about the side of TikTok Shop that perhaps doesn't get quite as much attention, and that's fulfillment and adherence to their service level agreement, or SLAs. This is absolutely where sales momentum is either protected or destroyed. And just to begin here, I just wanted to get an idea of how everyone is currently handling fulfillment. So we've got another poll. It's going to push it out now. So how are you currently handling your e-commerce order fulfillment? Maybe you're doing this from home. You've got a kind of a dual function room, or perhaps you've gone a step further. You've got your own space, maybe even a small warehouse. Or maybe you're already working with a fulfillment center, or of course there's our favorite demographic, you're already using autofulfill. Yeah, it's fun to hear from you guys. All right, so results are coming in quickly, which is great. I see 42% are already autofulfill customers. Sorry, 45%. Thanks for joining, guys. Good to see you. We have 8 people, or 27% are working with another fulfillment center, and 20% have their own warehouse. And then we've just 10% are still fulfilling from home. Awesome. All right. Thank you for that. Okay. So just starting with, is your fulfillment setup ready for TikTok Shop? So the main kind of questions to ask yourself here are, can you handle hundreds or potentially thousands of orders in a short space of time if your product goes viral? Will your supply chain flex, or will it break under kind of sudden surges in order volume? Do you have the systems in place to prevent stockouts, cancellations, and of course then, can you hit TikTok's strict SLAs? So the reason I'm putting these questions up is not to scare anyone. It's really to help answer that larger question of whether or not you're TikTok ready. Success here, it's not just about going viral. It's also about being able to deliver on that when you do. So if you can't confidently answer yes to these questions, then there is some work to do. TikTok it's an incredible growth opportunity, but operationally, it's quite unforgiving. So these are not by any means hypothetical questions. These are the pressure test that will determine whether your brand is going to thrive or struggle. And into the SLAs then, the first one I'm looking at is dispatch time and delivery. So what does TikTok actually expect on dispatch and delivery? In Ireland, they actually have not published a precise SLA yet. But don't be misled by that. TikTok is still monitoring dispatch rates, and the SLA here to keep in mind is 4%. So if 4% of your orders go late, your visibility starts to drop. The safest practice is to work to a 3-day maximum. That is the SLA they have in place in Spain and some of the other regions, like in Southeast Asia. In the UK, in fact, it's actually a little bit tighter. It's a 2-day maximum there. But the bigger point to keep into consideration is TikTok's algorithm isn't just looking at whether or not you meet the SLA. It's paying attention to how fast you actually are. So sellers who dispatch faster see their products ranked higher and they get recommended more often. The main thinking being here that speed translates directly to customer satisfaction. And from any other perspective, you look at any other marketplace, that holds true. So the best way to approach this SLA is not just, don't just treat it as compliance, treat it as an opportunity. If you set up to aim for that UK standard, you're already future-proof for one thing, but also you're positioning yourself to win extra visibility. The next metric then is seller cancellation rate, or SCR. TikTok requires you to keep this below 2.5% over a rolling 7-day period. Now, importantly, this only counts cancellations that are the seller's fault. So anything caused by stock outs, pricing errors, incorrect listings. If your buyer cancels their own order, then this does not affect your SCR. The reason this one matters is that a high cancellation rate signals to TikTok Shop that you're maybe not the most reliable of sellers. And of course, if that seller cancellation rate goes above 2.5%, then just like with the dispatch and delivery, your products are going to start getting buried a little bit. The fixes are straightforward enough, but they're essential. So from one thing, you really need to make sure that you've got some kind of real-time inventory sync between your shop and your inventory, whether that's, if you're working with a 3PL, whether that's their warehouse management system, or if you're fulfilling yourself, whether you've got some inventory management software or even just a good process. Another really good practice is to keep a little bit of buffer stock for some of your faster moving items or anything you're going to be featuring more heavily. Those two practices alone can prevent most kind of seller fault cancellations and protect your visibility. So always a good idea to have those in place. The next service level agreement I want to talk about is the valid tracking rate. Again, this one's non-negotiable. TikTok requires sellers to keep this at 95% at higher. And to give a little bit more detail, a tracking number only counts as valid if it's uploaded on time and traceable within 48 hours of dispatch. So if the tracking number is missing, if the link doesn't work, or if it's uploaded late, this brings your VTR, valid tracking rate score, down. The reason this matters is TikTok, as you've probably already ascertained, is a very buyer-centric platform. They want to guarantee a certain experience for buyers so that if they purchase something, they'll see exactly where it is within a day or two, or really as quickly as possible. The solution to keep on top of this really is just work with proven couriers, the likes of, On Post, DPD, DHL. And secondly, and perhaps even more importantly, whether you're doing this yourself or whether you're working with another fulfillment center, make sure that parcels are scanned at that handover point from the fulfillment to the courier. Just ensuring that happens will absolutely keep you within this 48-hour window. And last but not least, returns and refunds. And this is where you'll absolutely see how buyer-centric TikTok Shop actually is. So you've got 2 days and 2 days only to process and refund any order once that parcel is marked delivered back to you. The system is really unforgiving. If you miss the deadline, TikTok will auto refund the buyer, take the money straight from your account. So even if they've sent back something that maybe you wouldn't accept normally, if you're late processing that refund, tough. The only way to stay safe here is to treat returns as a daily workflow. It's not something you should let pile up. Having a dedicated returns process, running daily inspections, means you can keep well on top of the 2-day limit and protect both your cash flow and your account health. And here, I am happy to share these slides with anyone after the webinar, but in case you want to take a quick screenshot, this is just a little cheat sheet I've put together of these SLAs, just something to keep an eye on, always keep it at the forefront of your mind when it comes to fulfillment. And okay, and as we've both myself and Jennifer have alluded to, there are consequences if you miss these SLAs. And these are first and foremost reduced visibility. So products are going to get pushed down in rankings. They're going to appear less while people are browsing. And essentially, you're going to be driving a lot less traffic to your own shop. Account warnings and suspensions, of course. So severe or repeated breaches of SLAs can result in temporary suspension or even permanent delisting. And then, as I mentioned when I was talking about returns, there's auto cancellations and refunds. So TikTok can, as I mentioned, auto refund any returns that aren't processed quickly enough. Same thing with orders that aren't dispatched quickly enough. So yeah, as you can see, they can be quite unforgiving. And any questions on this, guys, I can see people are making use of the questions box, which is amazing. Please keep going. But next, just to speak a little bit, we've put together 5 steps to help you get started. So first of all, obviously apply to sell on TikTok Shop. You'll see the little QR code on this graphic. That works. It will actually send you to a really helpful article from TikTok's website that will walk you through the process of applying. Number 2, implement a fulfillment plan to ensure that you can always meet those SLA requirements. It's absolutely crucial. Next is you need to integrate your store with your fulfillment system. Number 4, develop your content strategy and your content creation plan. And then, of course, number 5, start making content and start selling on the platform. So at this point, we're getting closer to the Q&A, but I just want to put out our 4th poll of the day. And here we're just looking at, based on everything you've learned today, how likely are you to pursue selling on TikTok Shop within the next 12 months? Okay, so that should be live on your screens. I see the answers coming in. Amazing. All right, so leading the pack is very likely. So a lot of people are ready to start selling soon, which I like to see. And up there again, also at 30% is likely. So cool, we've got a very, very positive audience here, Jennifer. We do have a significant number of people who are a little bit unsure and still want to learn a bit more. So those people might consider getting in touch with either Jennifer or myself, depending on what they need to know. All right. But yeah, so the winner, 35%, very likely, ready to start selling soon. Amazing. I like to see it.
Excellent.
Okay. So obviously, as I hinted at there, we can absolutely help. So from my side, I can help with the fulfillment side of things. I just spoke about the SLAs. Working with autofulfill, you don't need to worry about those so much. So we operate on same day fulfillment standards. So your dispatch and delivery SLA will always be met, not just within that window, but exceedingly quickly. Will help your visibility. We've got an integrated warehouse management system that ensures real-time inventory sync to avoid cancellations. Ours is absolutely market leading. It's as real-time as you can get with a WMS, so that's never an issue. Also, we've got dedicated cycle counting team. We really take inventory management very seriously. And obviously we work with, so for your VTR, apologies, we work with only the best kind of couriers with in Ireland and beyond. So every parcel that leaves the warehouse gets scanned as it's being handed over. So VTR is extremely easy for us to help with. We've also got a dedicated returns team that processes anything within 48 hours to help protect your seller ratings and avoid auto refunds. Naturally, as you'd also expect from a good 3PL, we've got viral ready scaling capacity. So we're set up to manage unexpected surges in order volume. Again, protecting you from any kind of SLA breaches. And of course, we've got best-in-class customer service. So we've got a really, really great client solutions team. They're very much experienced. They understand e-commerce, and importantly, they're extremely fast. So all queries are answered extremely quickly, typically less than 2 hours. And Jennifer, then on to you.
Yeah. Thanks so much. So, as I mentioned, I can work with e-com businesses over a variety of different areas. So, if you do want help in getting set up with your TikTok shop, maybe understanding and identifying what your opportunities are for your strategy. If you need help as well, then with content creation, I do work with a fantastic content creator, Creative by Kathy, and she can help with strategy and development on that as well. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity there if you want to even have a chat. I have put in a little offer here for you. So if you want to drop me an email, I'm offering a free 15-minute consultation just to go through maybe any questions that you have following this after a big Q&A as well. If you want any advice or just want to explore next steps. So feel free to drop me an email and we can get booked in.
Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. All right, so we've reached the Q&A stage. I can see people are making use of the question tab, which is fantastic. So let's have a look. All right, so I've got a question here from Rachel. Jennifer, you might be best suited for this one. Are affiliates just paid by commission, or is there a fee too?
It is just commission as far as I know, but you can do other things to incentivize your affiliates. So there's things like you can say if they reach a certain GMV that you'll give them the opportunity to use a flash sale or a giveaway or something on their content on their lives, and that then gives them more traction as well. So you can do little incentives there that aren't actually just completely related to a fee necessarily.
Okay, thank you. And then Jacob, is that 3 business days? I'm presuming you're talking about the SLAs I was speaking about. And the answer is no, that's 3 calendar days. So if orders come in on a Saturday, then the Sunday, the weekend is going to be included in that. So again, as I mentioned, they can be quite unforgiving. It's quite buyer centric, but yeah, always treated as calendar days, not business days. And another one from Sharon here. Can you recommend a company that would help build your TikTok platform for newbies?
Yes, me. I can certainly help get you started and give you a plan for getting your whatever kind of content you want to be putting out there, and work, like I said, with Creative by Kathy to deliver on that as well. So I'm happy to have a chat if you want to drop me an email.
Yeah, and we will be sending out recording of this webinar as well as contact details for both myself and Jennifer after this. So yeah, please do get in touch with Jennifer.
And just Rachel just popped, she'd said in the chat as well, just the QR code mightn't have worked for everyone on the slide there. So we'll include that link as well for getting started in the email out afterwards.
Thank you for pointing that out, Rachel. Okay, so Chris asks, why should I partner with Autofulfill over other 3PLs? Very good question. Well, there's a number of different reasons. I don't want to go on too long, but firstly, in terms of quality of services, you're not going to find anyone better. I mentioned all the SLAs we can reach, same day fulfillment. We only work with the best couriers. We've got the returns processes. We've got all of the viral ready capacity, but we're also, I mentioned our client solutions team, but they're so important. They're a really, really great team. Our clients absolutely love them. They're super fast to respond to any queries. They're all very much experienced. They understand e-commerce and they care about your business. Really, the kind of standard we always operate towards as a company is that we want to act as an extension of your own operations, not just another provider. So we care about your business's success, and we're absolutely equipped, and we have the expertise to deliver on anything fulfillment related that you need. If you would like to talk about this more, please feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to give you the full rundown. Okay, and still questions coming in. So from Rachel, so do we integrate our website, e.g. Shopify, with TikTok Shop, or is it totally separate? This can be done through Shopify. You can also integrate directly with TikTok Shop itself, but the Shopify option is really popular. And since you're assuming, I'm assuming that you're already running a Shopify store anyway, so it might make more sense to do it that way. There are integrations or there are kind of add-ons you can add to your Shopify license that will enable you to sync up with TikTok Shop Ireland.
The most popular used app for the connecting TikTok Shop and Shopify is called Silk. It's Silk Connector. TikTok Shop do actually have their own app, but I was kind of told to steer away from this at the moment, and that Silk was still the best. So yeah, that would be the one to investigate.
Okay. Thank you. And Sharon asks, does ShipHero provide notifications that a return has been processed in the warehouse? So the 2-day TikTok return deadline is not missed. The short answer is yes, you'll absolutely be notified. When it comes to returns processing, we will absolutely be able to help keep you on top of this. So that 2-day SLA will always be hit, not a problem. Okay, and if I look at Simon Feeney asks, is TikTok Shop still only invite only in Ireland?
Yeah.
Jennifer might be better to answer this.
It is at the moment. If you apply, I think they're kind of doing this by industry and business type at the moment. So they weren't, certain things like supplements weren't actually live yet. I'm not sure if that's actually live yet, but they're opening different areas as they go, as it builds. So it is invite only currently at the moment. However, if you are working with a partner such as me, you can bypass the invite only. So I can, if I am working with a business and I can say that they are credible and in good standing, and that I represent them, then I can get you past the invite only section. So that cheeky, but yeah.
All right. Okay. I see Joshua has asked a few questions, so I'll start with this one. So TikTok Shop is often seen as a platform for fast-moving, low-cost items. How well does it translate to selling luxury or premium products?
Yeah, good question there. I think it is very much focused on the fast-moving, low-cost items. I think if you are going to sell luxury and premium products, you want to maintain that perception as well on your live. So I'd say I'd be more reluctant to kind of do any heavy discounting, and really go in with your content kind of focusing on the real USPs of your product and why it's so luxury. So I would use it maybe more from a brand awareness sort of angle, as opposed to like a real key selling tool. As we were saying, like it is important for still as part of that omni-channel experience. So I'd say it's still good for educating. It's still good for that kind of live Q&A with your audience. So yeah, I think it would just need a slightly different strategy. But yeah, it could still be possible.
Cool, thank you. All right. Catherine asks, what are the penalties or fines for late dispatch, late delivery, missing tracking, or return handling errors? So those are threefold. One is going to end up being reduced visibility, so you'll show up less for people who are browsing. It can also result in your products dropping in rankings. In kind of repeated cases or maybe more severe cases, this can also result in account suspensions or even permanent delisting. And then if we're looking at something like late dispatch or returns, as you mentioned, then you're looking at things like auto refunds, auto cancellations, and the cost would go to the seller exclusively. Okay, questions are still coming in. Sorry, quite a few to scroll through here. All right, so from Marie, do we manually have to upload the tracking after it is sent from the fulfillment center, or does this not happen automatically? Yes, so it's based on with the integration that should happen automatically. It's not something that you have to manually upload, but of course it's something that you have to make sure is done. Maybe if you're not working with a fulfillment center, you don't have that integration in place. It's something that you just have to ensure goes up. Again, if you're already working with the 3PL, then that should happen automatically. Okay. Question from Chris: does autofulfill integrate with TikTok Shop Ireland? Imminently. We have a number of clients who are kind of doing it through Shopify at the moment, and the direct integration is imminent to be launched. So it's actually just in the last few stages of testing. Okay. All right. Hopefully we can get to all these questions, guys. Thank you so much for asking so many. I am conscious of not going too far over the 1 hour mark, but we'll keep going through these as much as we can. So Anya asks, what fees come with TikTok Shop? Is it just whatever commission set for affiliates?
So there is TikTok Shop fees. There's their seller fees themselves. So as I was saying, it's round about 5%, but it does depend on the industry. So you need to investigate that for your business specifically. And then there's the commission then for the affiliates. So that's where you would have those fees in there as well.
Okay, thank you. Since we're on that subject, Anne asks, can you give examples of typical commissions for affiliates, for example, for travel bags, and does it vary by industry?
It will vary, and I suppose it really depends on your margin and what you're comfortable with as well. As I was saying, it probably would be best to try and be a little bit more competitive to begin with, just because you want to attract affiliates to actually produce content for you. Recently, TikTok Shop were recommending between 10 to 15% for a commission for affiliates. Could be as high as 20% if it's a highly competitive market, but that could really eat into your margins. So you want to make sure that you have a good kind of solid strategy around that for how you're going to make it work for your business. I have seen other content where affiliates have said, like, this is a good commission for this product, as in like it was an online coaching sort of thing, and she was saying the commission was 8%. So that's an affiliate saying that 8% is good. Then TikTok Shop were recommending 10 to 15. So I think it's probably a bit of trial and error yourself and what kind of number you're comfortable with. If you've got a bit more wiggle room there, then it would be great to kind of edge that up a little bit just to try and get in those affiliates and get started. So yeah. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see. We'll get a few more in, I think. Okay. Here we are. So Joshua asks, what's the most effective way to identify and collaborate with TikTok creators for product promotion?
So if you want to work with affiliates, there is the affiliate center, and there's a link to that within your seller center. So in there, you can review different affiliates based on what sort of niche they're in. So if you're looking for one that's in like beauty, you can search for beauty related affiliates. So you can use the affiliate center for that. Or if you want to just try and find content creators that aren't actually affiliates, then just search on TikTok itself for content creators. And obviously, as I've mentioned as well, Creative by Kathy is who I work with. So I do have connections to content creators too, if you want any help with that as well. So do let me know.
Okay. And okay. Ben asks, is there a difference in available tools between TikTok Business on desktop versus using the app on mobile? Which do you recommend using primarily?
As I'm sitting using a MacBook all day, every day, I just use desktop anyway. But I think the app is newer, I think, anyway. So Look, I haven't used it, so I'd say just see whatever suits you best. I like looking at things on a big screen. Maybe you're well able to use mobile apps. So yeah, just personal preference, I'd say.
Okay. Getting loads of questions for you here, Jennifer, which I think speaks to the quality of your part. So Joshua again asks, how does TikTok Shop handle returns and customer disputes compared to platforms like Amazon or Shopify? So I can answer part of this. I don't know the complete procedure, but I know that once a returned order is marked delivery back at the seller or the seller's 3PL, whichever it may be, the clock starts ticking. They've got 2 days to process that, which would include identifying if there are any issues that maybe would result in the customer not being entitled to a refund. If they don't process this and raise it within that 2 days, though, it can end up in auto kind of refunds, and in which case there's not really much to do from there. Jennifer, is there anything you would add to that, or?
Well, I think you probably know that bit best, actually,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, it's in terms of the actual resolution process, if maybe a client takes objection to the decision of the seller, I'm actually not sure how that's handled. But just to be absolutely upfront with that. Thanks for the question, Joshua. Sharon asks, is there a number or threshold of followers required to sell on TikTok Shop?
I don't think there is anymore, from what I can gather. I know that there was previously, but I can't see anything online that says that there is a specific amount now. I think it is just still that invite only, and then yeah, if your industry is available, then that's you in when they decide, or if you're working with a partner like me. So I think number of followers, I don't think is a requirement anymore.
Okay. Thank you. And okay, here's a good question from Aideen. Is there data on which industries thrive the most in TikTok Shop? For example, the beauty industry, electronics industry, or book industry?
There probably is. I think even in doing like some extra research for this webinar, there are a lot of articles, podcasts, and things out there that do have a lot of information. I think at the moment, I don't know if it's more so like the industries that I work in, I get a lot of content that's about beauty, and it does seem to be very beauty driven for me. But then I hear a lot of people that are seeing like kitchen gadgets or, like you're saying, electronics. So I think it's probably best to just search around and see if there's any other articles you can find. There is actually, maybe, who was it that asked this question, Firka?
I think it was Aideen. Sorry, I've scrolled through some of the other questions. Yeah, it was Aideen.
Okay, there was an interesting article that I was reading ahead of this, so I'll see if I can find that, and I'll share, or we can share it in the email to everyone as well. Just retail economics or something, I think it was. But there's a good few stats and things in there, so it might be worth a read. But yeah, there's a lot of podcasts and things as well out now. D2C Diaries, those guys have a lot of good quality content on TikTok Shop, so definitely worth listening to those kind of things and hearing how other businesses have gone about TikTok Shop, especially then, like, that's a UK based podcast, and obviously they have a bit more history behind them. So yeah, definitely worthwhile just doing a bit of research for yourself.
Cool, thank you. And I just wanted to, I spoke to this a little bit earlier, but I can see this question's gotten a lot of upvotes, so I wanted to speak to this. Jacob wants to know if we can get a copy of the slides for this webinar. Jacob, that's no problem at all. I can email those to you after the webinar. And Joshua then asks, what metrics inside TikTok Shop should sellers focus on most to track long-term success?
I think your SLAs are definitely going to be the most important thing there, because your account health and how you perform is going to make a big difference to your overall sales. So that's definitely, getting those bits right is important. I would be mindful of like vanity metrics and just number of followers. You want to look at then the kind of engagement that you're getting on your content and your lives. So I'd look more to that sort of thing rather than the vanity ones of just how many. And then obviously you're going to be looking at your GMV as well. That's your gross merchandising value, that's your sales. So I'd be keeping an eye on that too, obviously, for you're going to make money there. But yeah, I'd say that's probably the most important thing anyway, is your account health, because that's going to make a difference as to how TikTok Shop views you as well. Like they're going to be, as Firka's saying, they can then like dampen the impact of your content if you're not performing. So I'd keep an eye on those.
Thank you. Okay, and I think we have a couple of questions that are kind of flirting around the same subject. I think we can finish it up with those. So Chris asks, can you help us get accepted as a seller on TikTok Shop?
Yeah.
And also Kristen, just to mention this as well, also asked, told us that they have applied for TikTok Shop, but it said it's invite only at the moment in Ireland. So yes. Yeah. It is invite only, but they are still accepting applications. So please put those in. I would expect that the soft launch phase of TikTok Shop Ireland is not going to last too much longer. They are coming up to their 1-year anniversary. So I would expect change in this area imminently. Jennifer, anything you would add to that? Or?
Yeah, just to reiterate that if you're working with me, I can get you accepted.
All right. Well, look, thank you so much for everyone. I think we're out of time. If we didn't get to your question, I'm so sorry, but please feel free to get in touch with Jennifer and or myself afterwards. You'll have our contact details and we're eager to hear from you. Thank you so much. From Auto Fulfill's perspective, this is the first of this series of webinars we've done, and we're really looking forward to doing some more. Really hope to see you there. And Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. Really such a pleasure to have you on this with me.
Amazing. Thanks so much. And thank you for the lovely feedback there, guys. It's really nice. This is my first ever live webinar and I really, really enjoyed it. So thanks so much. And thanks for all the questions. It was great fun.
All right. Thanks so much, everyone. See you at the next one.
Thank you. Bye.